All right, so welcome. And we will get started. So we will start sitting in Sukhasana. So we just need maybe a couple blocks today. We might not even end up needing those blocks. All right. And then here we are. Crossing the legs, but not just sitting cross-legged on the floor, sitting in the yoga pose Sukhasana, bringing a little bit more intention and purposefulness to it. And then we'll lean back on the arms, lengthening up, getting space between the vertebrae, space in the hip sockets. Feel a little squinging and shifting. And slowly releasing with the arms, letting the hands rest on the knees. Inhale and exhale. Feeling your breath. Feeling your body. Maybe feeling your mind. And then letting everything slow down. Breathing gets a little longer and a little deeper. And then reaching out wide through the collarbones, through the fingertips. Inhale and exhale, breathing the arms up. And breathing the arms down. Let's do that twice more. And then once more, breathing the arms up. And we'll bring the hands together, coming down the center line, pressing into the center, pulling wide from the elbows, and then softening, pulling the shoulders and elbows a little down and back, thumbs to the sternum. Inhale and exhale, turning your gaze even more inward, maybe closing your eyes. And we'll take one Om together. So you can do your Om, sounding it out into the world, or you can do your Om inside yourself. All right, so however we're Oming, taking a deep and easeful inhale. And let the head bow forward. release the hands, backs of the hands on the knees. Slowly lift the head and open the eyes. And let's take a twist to the right. Inhale, lots of space. Exhale and then if you want, maybe taking the half binding, wrapping the left arm around. Maybe the hand makes it all the way to wrapping the right arm around. Maybe the hand makes it all the way to the left hip. Maybe just on the lower back. Coming back to the center, changing the cross of the legs. And let's twist to the left. Inhale and exhale. And then maybe adding the half binding with the left arm wrapping around toward the right hip. Back to the center. Let's come forward and over. Breathing across the back of the body. And then coming up, unfurling the spine vertebrae by vertebrae, back up on top of the sitting bones. Inhale and exhale, arriving here in this moment. And then we will come up to downward facing dog. And taking your time, being patient with your hamstrings. Isn't necessarily the most perfect downward facing dog ever quite yet. And walking the dog or anything else you want to do. So in yoga, sometimes the pose itself is the warm-up for the pose itself. So like in downward facing dog, maybe your hamstrings or lower back of the knees are still a little tight, but by going up into that downward facing dog, not forcing and pushing, just breathing into what's available, what spaciousness and expansion is available at this moment. You are warming up and setting up for your downward facing dog. All right, and then finishing up with whatever you're doing. Being in the best downward facing dog of this moment now. And let's lengthen forward to the plank, long and flat against the ceiling. Really feeling every breath moving through the body. You can always go to kneeling plank if you want. And then we'll set the knees down on all fours. Shift a little bit more weight back onto the knees, taking a little off the wrists there. We'll do a few cats, cows. And then Asana Namaskar, knees, chest, chin to the small cobra. Hinging back, big cow back. Keep that feeling of pulling up and back as you pull the upper chest forward and down between the hands. Maybe pause a moment, lifting the hips a little more, sliding out to the small cobra. And here we are, however we got here. Squeezing the elbows in, pulling them back. And then lengthening down, pulling forward through the top of the head, back through the elbows and sides of the body. 3 more small cobras, lengthening up. And lengthening down. And twice more, really working the back muscles. And then let's take the hands out wide on the pads of the fingers, the spider hands, pulling the elbows out wide. And this time as we roll up, we'll let the chin drop. And then lift, pulling the elbows wide, reaching forward through the upper chest. 3 more times of that. Rolling up and wide and down. So you may not feel like your upper back is actually doing a lot of rippling as we do this, but have an intention for it to be doing a lot of rippling. I don't know if this was 2 or 3 that we're just doing here. So let's do one more. Calming down, slide the arms out to straight out to the sides. And then we'll lift up off the floor in a Salabhasana variation, lifting the arms and legs, flying. And coming down. And we will make our way back up to downward facing dog. And lifting the right leg up, reaching down through the left heel. Let's reach the right leg down, touching the right big toe to the left heel. And then reaching that right leg back up. Bending the knee dog at the high fire hydrants. And through to the lunge. And we'll bring the left knee down and Jayasana. Feeling like you're pulling the right heel back and left knee forward a little into a strong center. Lifting up from there. And breathing the arms around, a big circle around and back up overhead. And Namaste in front. And then to the roller derby. So straighten up the left leg. The left foot goes out to 90 degrees. We turn toward the left on the open side, the inside, and putting your right hand on the inside of the right knee and pressing that knee open. Stretching along the right inner thigh, maybe some of the left inner thigh as well. And then we're not moving the feet, but switching and hinging back, bending the left knee, flexing the right foot. Maybe your hands are on the floor inside, maybe holding on to the right leg. So straightening the right leg as well, really pulling up with the front of the thigh. This is all too complicated, doesn't seem to be working for your body. Just do some kind of forward bend stretch with a straight leg now. You can use the elephant rider and then just straighten the legs into the forward bend for a simpler version. Probably should have said that before, but now we'll know. All right. And then lunging forward to step forward. Into the concave back, halfway up. Folding over. Deep breath. Oh, and then maybe one or two more. And coming up to standing. Big front body yawn. And bringing the arms down and around to Namaste. And then come, big lift up. And diving over. Concave back, folding over, jumping or stepping back through the vinyasa, downward facing dog. So I'm going to Asta Namaskar again. If you want to come along with me onto all fours, big hinge and arch up and back, sliding out to the small cobra. And then we'll all meet up in downward facing dog. And we'll lift the left leg up. And then reaching the left leg down, touching the big toe to the right heel. And lifting the left leg back. And I don't remember if we dog at the high fire hydrant did, but let's do it. And then through to the lunge. And we'll bring the right knee down and Jayasana. Feeling the knee and heel, knee and heel pulling into the center as we come up. Big circle of breath. And then the arms follow that circle of breath around. Namaste in front. And then turning to the roller derby, base of the warrior number 2. And left hand on the inside of the left knee, or maybe you're using the elephant rider, simplifying things. Stretching through the inner thighs, stretching through wherever you're feeling the stretch. And then we'll go the other way, bending the right knee, flexing the left foot, straightening the left leg, rolling up the top of the thigh, maybe just straightening into a forward bend. And then reaching through the left foot, turning to the lunge to the front of the mat to step forward. Into the concave, back halfway up. And folding. And then from down here, let's reach our arms up behind us and do the interlocked fingers. You give the shoulders a roll out from here, reaching out through the hands. And keeping the hands interlocked if you can, coming up to standing. And all the way into the lift the chest to lift the chin, arms pouring down the back. And then coming up, releasing the arms. And we will come over. Big inhale up. And exhale, diving over. Concave back, folding over. Vinyasa, downward facing dog. See, I'm going to Namaste again if you want to do that, or any other version. And here we all are in downward facing dog. Let's lift our right leg up. Well, I guess there is no right leg here. Lifting the right leg up, bending the knee dog at the high fire hydrant. Through to the lunge, warrior number 2 on the right. Deep breath arriving there. Dancing warrior. And then windmilling back down to step back to downward facing dog. Passing off to the left foot, which lifts up. And then bending the knee dog at the high fire hydrant. Through to the lunge. Coming up in the warrior number 2 on the left. Arriving there. Dancing warrior. So we're moving efficiently but not rushing. Windmilling back down. Stepping back to downward facing dog. And we'll lift our right leg again. And dog at the high fire hydrant. Through to the lunge. Warrior number 2 on the right. Dancing warrior. And windmilling down. And then once more passing off to the left. Lifting the left leg up. Dog at the high fire hydrant. Through to the lunge. And then we're going to pause here in our warrior 2 on the left. Inhale and exhale, settling in a little more deeply. And then we'll dancing warrior. Lifting up and away, pulling that lunge forward. And into the triangle Trikonasana. Everything extending out. Breathing here. Every breath renewing your presence, every breath renewing the pose. Every breath is a warm-up for the next breath, the triangle pose in the next breath. And a big reach around with the right arm down to the lunge. Walk the left foot over. We're going to Matsyendrasana. Pulling the right knee under. So we have our left leg crossed over, right leg under, and we'll twist to the left. Inhale and exhale. Maybe adding the half binding, left arm wrapping around toward the right hip. And back to the center. And then we're going to take our left leg and swing it around, come into the pigeon, or you could stop here in the bent leg pigeon, the running deer, or straightening it out into the pigeon. Maybe a block under your sitting bone, unless you left your blocks way back there like I did. Oh well. Taking a few breaths in the cobra actions. Up the front, down the back. And then coming forward and over. And up. And pulling onto the right hip, bringing the legs together, and we'll come up in the horizontal center of the mat. And the forward bend. All right, so I'm going to turn around and face you. Hopefully, neither you nor I will get all mixed up about where right and left is now. All right, here we are in the forward bend in the horizontal center of the mat. Concave back halfway up, folding over. Deep breath. Coming up to standing, big front body yawn. Arms down and around to Namaste in front. Then we're going to do the tree pose. So I'm being the real right and left at the moment. We go back to the wall here for a little support, so you can too. We're going to bring our left leg up first. So reaching down through both feet, then especially through that right leg as we bring the left leg up. So part of what brings the left leg up is that right leg really reaching down. Oh, okay. And then bringing the left leg down, reaching a little higher through the top of the head as the left foot comes down. And then we will bring the right leg up. Reaching down through that left leg, long through the top of the head. Go to bring the right leg down. Lengthen a little more, like you're making space for the right leg to fit down there. And here we are in the horizontal center of our mat. And big lift up. Diving over. Concave back halfway up. Fold it over. And then walking the feet out to the edges of the mat. And then take a moment considering where your left leg is. So I'm pretty confused now, I must say. Oh wait, no, we want to go toward the right leg. The right leg should be at the front of the mat now, I think. I don't know. Turn toward the front of the mat. There we go. Stepping back to the plank. The root of vinyasa. And downward facing dog. There we are. Breathing here. Coming down, sitting back in child's pose. And then coming forward onto our stomach, doing the Sphinx for a few breaths, getting everything evened out. And then calming down. Let's interlock our fingers behind, giving the shoulders a roll out. And then we'll lift up off the floor in Salabhasana. Slowly release the hands, palms face the ceiling. And then reach the arms out wide to the side. Reach a little more and then calming down. Deep breath. And back up to downward facing dog. And then we will left, right our way around. All right. And you can go through another vinyasa here if you want. All right, let us lift our left leg up. Dog at the high fire hydrants. Inhale and exhale to the lunge. Warrior two on the left, arriving there. Dance warrior. And windmilling down, stepping back to downward facing dog. Lifting the right leg up. Dog at the high fire hydrant. Through to the lunge. Warrior two on the right. Dancing warrior. And windmilling down. And left again, stepping back. Not rushing, doesn't matter if you're not exactly in the same place as me. And then one more time with the right leg, lifting up. And then here we are in our warrior two on the right side. Breathing yourself into the pose. And then dancing warrior, bringing the right arm up and away. And into the triangle, Trikonasana, hinging over. Inhale and exhale. Every breath, slightly different triangle. At the same time, every breath, we're still in the triangle. So there's both that continuity and then the each moment as well. And reaching around with the left arm and into Matsyendrasana. Feeling the left leg underneath the right. Oh. All right, so we have the left leg down, right leg crossed over. Let's twist to the right. Inhale, lots of space. Exhale and twist. And then reaching through the right arm, maybe into the half binding, or maybe not. And then untangling that, you're going to take that right leg, swing it around behind. So maybe doing the running deer pigeon, or straightening things out, pulling around into the pigeon. So now we have a left leg front, right leg back, though most importantly, it's the other side. And taking a few breaths here, doing that cobra action. And coming forward and forward. And up. And arm to the left, hip turning to the side, bringing the legs in, coming up into the forward bend in the horizontal center of the mat. All right, I'm turning around again. Reaching down into the floor through both legs. And then we will concave back, folding over, coming up to standing, big front body yawn. And around to Namaste. All right, so this time we'll pick the right leg up first. In the tree pose. And we'll add some arms. Let's bring our right leg up. Or not, you don't necessarily have to add some arms. You can use your imaginary arms. Reaching down through the left leg up through the top of the head. And then we'll breathe those arms up overhead. And then reaching them out wide to the side. And if things are going really well with balance, maybe turning your head and looking over the right arm. And a big inhale and exhale, namaste, right foot down. And then we will go on the left. And here we are, hands in namaste in front. Remember, you can use your imaginary arms instead of your real arms. As we breathe those arms up the center line and overhead. And then reaching out wide to the side. And maybe turning the head and looking over the left. Hold a little stronger as we bring the hands to namaste and left foot comes down. And here we are in our horizontal center of the mat. And this time let's walk our feet out wide from the top. And then release the hands to interlock the fingers behind. Lengthening up the front of the body to lift the chest, to lift the chin. And then coming forward and over. Pressing out through the hands. And if you need to take your hands to the floor sooner, go ahead. Otherwise, we'll keep them interlocked for a few breaths. And then releasing the hands. Do a little press down into the floor. Extend a little more through the legs. And then we're going to turn toward the left lunge. I did keep track of my left and right this time, where it would be if I didn't do any turning around. It would be the left lunge, but turning toward the front of your mat, because maybe that's gotten all turned around as well. Turning to the front of the mat, we're going to step back to the plank and go into the side plank on the right, stacking the feet. Maybe having the left foot on the floor in front, maybe putting the right knee down, reaching wide through the arms and long through the top of the head. You can think about how you could do the tree pose here with your left top leg. I think I'm doing the think version myself today. And then we will come back to the center. And we'll do the side plank on the left as you're ready. And then maybe that right leg is going to a tree pose there. Or maybe the imaginary right leg. And then back to the center. Through a vinyasa, any version, including none at all. And we'll all be in downward facing dog, and then we'll all be in child's pose. So if you're still here in downward facing dog with me, let's take 3 deep breaths. And then coming down, sitting back in child's pose. And up. And we will come down to the floor and we'll do the bridge pose. So you can do the regular bridge pose, the bridge pose with the block under the sacrum, or maybe a combination of those two. So I'll be doing the combination of those two. All right, so we're going to come down onto the floor, getting the block under the knees, or any other back bending we want to do for that matter. It doesn't have to be this one necessarily. And lifting up, block under the sacrum, sliding the legs out to straight. Cooperating with the block. All right, so maybe staying here is what you want to do. If you want to come up in the bridge pose, bend the knees. Maybe you can interlock the hands around the block. I don't think I can. But let's press the feet into the floor, lifting up off the block. You can completely take the block out, actually, if you want to. Ah, into the bridge pose. And then we'll come down. So if you still have the block there, you can go into the supported bridge pose again for a few more breaths. If the block's gone, we come down and land on the floor. And maybe give the legs a stretch out. And then making your way off the block if you're on the block. And we will have yet another round of assorted options, maybe the figure four, or taking the knees to the side in the twist. So I'm going to, even though usually I prefer the figure four is the one I want to do, I'm going to actually do the knees dropping to the side today. So if we drop the knees to the left, we make our twist to the right. Well, it doesn't really matter which side you drop them to. Inhale and exhale. Coming back to the center, and then taking the knees over to the other side or switching legs. And coming back to the center, and then into Shavasana. Sliding the legs out, hands lower than the level of the heart. Or if you're choosing to have the arms up wide or overhead or somewhere else, just knowing that. And settling into the earth, settling into your breath. And then breathing back into your body, into the room, moving the fingers and toes, getting the circulation going, stretching the arms up overhead. Bend your knees and gently making your way up to sitting. And sitting in any comfortable position with a long and spacious spine. Taking a few more moments sitting quietly inside yourself. Namaste. Thank you for coming.